UFC Fight Night Edwards versus Brady London just concluded. We're going to be recapping and breaking it down, boys. It was a pretty solid card. Not many finishes, but a lot of rankings changing. Ranking changes are going to be going on. A lot of prospects rising, a lot of prospects failing, man. We're going to get straight into it. Before we go ahead and get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's start it off with the early prelim opener of Guram Kutateladze versus Cal Fernandez. Open up the early prelims, boys. It was a good fight. This was a solid fight. Guram Kutateladze was a massive prospect when he first got in the UFC. We've talked about this. We talked about this when we broke down the fight. A lot of people hyped up Guram. Very technical striker, good on the ground, good all around. Just seemed like a guy that could potentially be a great lightweight in the future. Ended up not going his way. And this fight, he just got absolutely dominated by Cal Fernandez, who wasn't seen to be a very threatening guy on the feet against Guram, but Cal played it perfectly, had the perfect game plan going into this fight, utilized the leg kicks, utilized the body kicks, the head kicks, his kicks, his karate stance was just perfect against Guram, who kept a very tight guard, kept himself, kind of out of range of Cal and wasn't able to break that void, break the barrier to really get in on Cal Fernandez, who was able to just stay at distance, kick, throw his long shots straight down the pipe, connecting on Guram all day, injured Guram in round one with the leg kicks right off the bat. I mean, he had his leg beat up. He had his front leg beat up. I believe Guram is he stands normally. He has the normal stance. He's not a southpaw. And so his left leg was beat up. It was chopped up. He had to switch stances in round two. He got dropped by Cal Fernandez in round one and almost got finished. Almost got finished in round one. He got head kicked as well. It was really, really dangerous territory for Guram. He almost got finished at least 3 times in this fight. It was just a clear dominant decision for Cal Fernandez, who nobody really expected to school Guram like he did. Guram had Ilia Toporia's brother, Alexander Topuria, and Khamzat Chimaev in his corner, and he still got dominated by Cal Fernandez, man. I'm sorry to say it to all you people who glaze Guram, love Guram. Guram is a failed prospect. He is overrated. Guram Kutateladze is super overrated. There's no real comeback possible for Guram Kutateladze at the age that he's at. He's in his 30s. He has lost 3 times in the UFC. He doesn't have any very noticeable wins. His most noticeable win is against Jordan Vucenic, who we will get on to later, but that didn't go too well for him tonight either. And it was on short notice. He barely beat Jordan Vucenic. So Guram Kutateladze in general, it's just done for him, man. I do believe it is done for him. I don't know if the UFC will keep him around. Maybe they will. He's still a guy that I'm sure people will still be like, oh, Guram, he could have been that, could have been this, and it just didn't turn out. But I just genuinely think Guram Kutateladze never had that real spark or that real ability to be able to be a superstar, as Cal Fernandez just takes him down easily with kicks, with straight shots down the middle, brutalizes his legs. He knocked Guram Kutateladze down twice with a leg kick, with a solid chopping leg kick, dropped Guram Kutateladze, almost finished him on the ground. I believe he dropped him in round one. He dropped him in round one with a head kick, then almost finished Guram in the first minute. He almost knocked him out in the first minute, then dropped Guram with the leg kick, I believe in round 2, and dropped him with a leg kick in round 3. Guram just got dominated. This was honestly just a brutalizing beatdown by Cal Fernandez. So it's a great win for him, and it was a great fight to start off this card. We will move on to the next fight, Nathan Fletcher versus Cowlin Loughran. This was such a close fight, back and forth. Split decision goes to Cowlin Loughran. It could have gone either way. The takedowns were the defining factor. Cowlin Loughran was the more physically imposing man, the more physically dominating guy in this fight. Round one, was tit for tat, back and forth. Cowlin was pushing the pace. He had Nathan Fletcher up against the fence the entire fight, was backing him up, landing some nice shots, some nice hooks, some nice straight jabs down the center, man. Was connecting on Fletcher a bit, but Fletcher kept his composure, landed some good shots. And I believe Cowlin Loughran took him down twice in round one. So I gave that first round to Cowlin Loughran pretty clearly. But round 2, Nathan Fletcher came back. He got Cowlin Loughran's back, hopped on his back in round 2, had a very dominant position on top of Cowlin Loughran, almost getting a submission, and got a lot of nice shots up against the fence on Cowlin Loughran. It was a dominant round by Nathan Fletcher. I mean, you could have scored it a 10-8. I think they did score it a 10-9. I'm not too sure. I didn't look at the scorecards, but it was a very dominant round by Nathan Fletcher. Nonetheless, I think he had 3 minutes of back control and just control in general. landed a lot of shots up against the cage. Callum Loughran broke the position though and ended that round off pretty solid. And then in round 3, Callum Loughran secured a couple takedowns, got the ground and pound, got the damage off he needed. He did get cut in the last second of the fight. I believe he had a pretty big gash over his eye, but it was at the end of the fight. It was just too late for Nathan Fletcher to deal that damage to Callum Loughran. So Loughran gets the split decision in England over Nathan Fletcher. I thought they would have given it to Nathan Fletcher. It was a very close fight. I could see a world where Nathan Fletcher wins that fight. Either way, at the end, when it was a split decision, I was like, whoever wins, man. I mean, it was really close fight. Really, really close fight. Really close. Hard to judge. I definitely based it mostly off of the takedowns, but Nathan Fletcher did outstrike and outpoint Callum Loughran and hurt him in some moments. But the last 30 seconds of this fight were an absolute scrap. It was back and forth. They were throwing hands. That was super fun. I was hyped. They were both throwing. Nathan Fletcher landed some elbows. Callum Loughran was throwing some overhand rights. It was back and forth. I think Nathan Fletcher ended that round 3 a lot more dominating than Callum Loughran, but Loughran secured the round with the takedowns in the eyes of the judges. So Callum Loughran gets himself a good split decision in enemy territory in England, man. So we will move on to the next fight. Nice freaking win by Sean O'Bannon, man. I think everybody expected this fight to be a snooze fest. I picked Puja Tomar. A lot of people picked Puja Tomar. Thought she was going to come forward, blitz in, throw her punches, start yelling like she does, But India, man, even though Indians are count as 1.5 billion people on the earth, they have no prospects, zero prospects in MMA. Both of them getting shut down recently. Obviously I'm talking about what's his name, the Lion King. I'm not even going to talk about him, man. But Puja Tomar gets submitted by Sean O'Bannon in round 2 via armbar, man. It was a crazy sequence. Round 1, it was back and forth, throwing shots. Sean O'Bannon was getting the best of the striking exchanges because she had this kind of hopping on one foot teep kick. It wasn't even a teep kick. It was more of a side kick to the body. She landed that non-stop, and Puja wasn't really able to close the distance. But when she did close the distance, she landed great combinations on Sean O'Bannon, and she connected on her like really well. She was doing a lot of damage to Sean O'Bannon, but Bannon kept her composure, used those side kicks to gauge the range, and I think she took round 1. It was close, but I think Sean O'Bannon outstruck Puja. Then when Puja went back to her corner, corner told her, throw more punches, dodge those kicks, and just blitz in. That's what Puja did in round 2. She landed some good shots, landed good combinations, and then she landed a very nasty head kick, dropped Sean O'Bannon. I thought it was over. I thought I predicted it perfectly. Puja Tomar, I didn't predict her to get it done, but if Puja Tomar got it done by finish, I was going to be hyped. She almost knocked out Sean O'Bannon, head kicked her into another universe. Sean O'Bannon gets dropped. I thought Puja Tomar was going to ground and pound finish her. I didn't even think it needed to be done because Sean O'Bannon looked like she was out. She looked unconscious. Apparently she wasn't. Sean O'Bannon's on her back. Puja Tomar's on top of her. Sean O'Bannon closes the guard, gets her legs on top of Puja Tomar's head, locks up the armbar, man. Puja Tomar did not know what she was doing. Did not know what she was doing on the ground with Sean O'Bannon. Did not know how to defend the submission, and Sean O'Bannon gets a very nice comeback. I'm going to call it a comeback because she almost got knocked out. It was like a crazy sequence. Got knocked down with a head kick, almost got knocked unconscious, and then wraps up the armbar and submits Puja Tomar. Great win by Sean O'Bannon in England. She was very emotional afterwards. Great win. I believe she got a performance bonus for the night. It's well deserved. Great win by Sean O'Bannon. We move on. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andre Pulyaev. Man, I was disappointed with this fight. Not a great fight, I'm going to be honest. I really thought Christian Leroy Duncan, I thought CLD would get him out of there early. I'm going to be honest. But Andre Pulyaev is a coward. He is a coward. I'm sorry to say it, man. He should not have been in that UFC octagon, backing up nonstop, running away from CLD, not defending himself properly. He was just running away nonstop. Second round, he was backing up, circling, just making it boring. You need 2 to tango in a fight, and Andre Pulyaev did not want to tango. He did not want to be in this fight. Christian Leroy Duncan got the better of him in round 1, round 2, round 3. Clear, unanimous decision. Duncan injured him in a lot of moments with some knees, elbows, was crashing in with right hooks, left hooks. He's mixing it up very well. The kicking game as well was really good for CLD. He was just a more physically imposing and demanding person in that octagon. I thought he was going to get him out of there. A lot of moments I thought he was going to get Pulyaev out of there, but then Pulyaev, there'd be a bit of a break in time. Pulyaev would get up against the cage, hug him, turn around, switch positions. It was a bit of a sleeper, man. It was a bit of a snoozer. Unfortunate because CLD does deserve, to have a nice win in London. He deserved to get a nice finish, but wasn't able to do that against a boring guy in Puliayev who just shouldn't have been in the UFC octagon. Kind of shitty when they bring in these guys, from different promotions that have never really competed at that high level, and then they just make it a snooze fest. But great win by CLD. He gets back in the win column after that loss to Gregory Rodriguez, which has aged well because Rodriguez, obviously went on to fight a ranked opponent, lost that, but still, CLD gets back in the win column in England. Good for him, man. But Puliayev cut this dude. Christian Leroy Duncan did find a lot of success in round 3 at the last few seconds of round 3. Was teeing off on Puliayev. He would have finished him if there was a bit more time, but good win by CLD nonetheless. We will move on to the next fight of the night. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin, man. Heavyweight prospects just don't exist. All right, they don't exist. I got to stop picking heavyweight prospects to beat Marcin Tybura. I've done it twice in a row now. Janata Deniz and Mick Parkin back-to-back. Undefeated fighters get just beat down by Marcin Tybura. It just baffles me that Marcin Tybura at 39 years old is still fraud checking young heavyweight fighters, man. It sucks. It sucks because we want to see heavyweight, we want to see heavyweight grow, but it's pretty hard to see heavyweight grow, and we got a dude in Marcin Tybura just hogging up the top 10, man. He's not letting these dudes by. Mick Parkin he loses a unanimous decision. It was pretty close. I thought this could have been a split decision, honestly. It was a very close fight. Marcin Tybura got outstruck by Mick Parkin. I was a little bit confused because Mick Parkin landed the better shots. I do believe that Marcin Tybura did injure Mick Parkin more, and that third round by Mick, he was so exhausted, so exhausted. But round 1 was definitely Mick Parkin round. I think he landed the better shots. He was, coming forward, pressing Marcin Tybura, but Tybura is a decently physically imposing, guy, and he is able to stand his ground. He did stand his ground against Mick Parkin, and he did injure Mick Parkin a bit in round 1. Round 2 was a Mick Parkin round all day. He had that takedown, was landing good ground and pound, almost went for a submission, almost knocked him out. He was landing great ground and pound. I think that was actually at the end of round 1. He got a takedown, landed good ground and pound. Round 2 as well, he got the takedown, landed good ground and pound. But when they got back to the feet, Marcin Tybura landed the better strikes. And in round 3, Mick was just gassed. I mean, the end of round 2, in between round 2 and round 3, when Mick went back to his corner, his team was like, Marcin Tybura's gassed. He's gassed out, pushed for the next 5 minutes. Then we get out there, and I'm like, okay, Mick's the fresher fighter. He's got this, but it was the complete opposite. I mean, Mick Parkin just looked gassed out. And he lost weight from his last fight, and he just looked tired. His shots were lazy. There was no pop in his shots. Marcin Tybura was the one marching forward, literally, throwing those shots straight down the pipe, injured Mick Parkin, and Tybura just looked fresher at the end of round 3. So Marcin Tybura gets a unanimous decision. And he keeps hogging up the heavyweight top 10, man. Another heavyweight prospect shut down. Mick Parkin, Janata Deniz, back-to-back. Marcin Tybura he's still at that high level in the top 10 of heavyweight in the UFC, man. But we will move on to the next fight of Lawner Kavanagh versus Felipe Dos Santos. I'm so mad this fight didn't get fight of the night because this was a great fight. This was a great fight back and forth. Felipe Dos Santos almost finished Lawner Kavanagh in round 1 with a beautiful right hook. Injured Lawner really bad up against the cage. Lawner had to clinch up right away, try to get his composure back. I mean, Felipe Dos Santos is one of those shoot-the-box guys that comes forward. He's throwing punches nonstop. He is coming to take your head off. All those shoot-the-box guys know how to dig deep, try to finish you at all times in the fight, and Lawner just had to show that he is at that level and that he can push forward through those tough moments. He got cut really badly at the end of round 1 by, I believe it was an elbow on bottom position. I think Felipe Dos Santos was on bottom position, landed an elbow, and it was really bad. It was gushing out of Lawner's head. There's blood everywhere. I mean, it was just a bloody, gory fight. And in round 2, Lawner Kavanagh, he went back to the corner in between round 1 and round 2. His corner told him, get the takedowns and threaten on the ground, be more physically imposing, and that's exactly what Lawner did. Took Felipe Dos Santos down, landed elbows, landed ground and pound. It was nasty work by Lawner Kavanagh. He was bleeding everywhere. He was just, dirty, nasty. He dug deep, and he got that fight. He got that win. Very happy for Lawner Kavanagh. I think he's a great prospect at flyweight. He's really fun, super fast hands, dynamic, able to take you down as well. Very, very versatile. Almost finished Felipe Dos Santos at the end of round 3. He had him very injured with ground and pound and all this like that. But Felipe was looking for, obviously off of his back, he was looking for submissions. Lawner was able to defend, and he got that unanimous decision. Very, very happy for Lawner Kavanagh. I think he deserves that win. And hopefully he can get in the rankings in the next year or so, man. He's a great prospect. We'll see what happens, but good win by Lawler Kavanaugh in England, in his hometown. We move on. Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla to end the prelims, man. This was honestly maybe one of the worst fights on the prelim. I picked Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla got the win. I really thought this was going to be a barn burner. I thought this was going to be an amazing fight, back and forth, throwing hands. Somebody's going to get dropped here. Somebody's going to get dropped there. It's going to be a submission attempt, this, that. It was just boring. It was boring, man. I mean, Jai Herbert did his thing, pushed forward, pushed Chris Padilla, pushed the pace. Chris Padilla answered with some good shots. He cracked Jai Herbert a couple times, tried to get the takedowns, was never able to take Jai Herbert down, clinched him up against the fence, landed knees in round one. Pretty boring round one. Round two, I scored it for Jai Herbert. I thought he would land the better shots, was still able to defend all the takedowns. Jai Herbert defended every takedown. I'm going to be honest, Jai Herbert could have potentially won this fight. I think the judges gave it to Chris Padilla because they didn't want to be biased in England to pick Jai Herbert, but honestly, this could have been a Jai Herbert win. It was very close, could have been a robbery, but good win by Chris Padilla. He did land a cracking elbow at the end of round three. The most fun point was at the end of round three when they were both throwing hands. Chris Padilla landed a nice elbow, cracked Jai Herbert, almost knocked him out. Jai Herbert was also landing on Chris Padilla, cut Chris's eyelid at the end of round three. He was gushing blood as well. And it was good. Third round was good. It was fun, but the rest of the fight was just meh. Good win by Chris Padilla, though. Very, very close win. I don't know how we're going to rate this win when he's fighting his next opponent because, Jai Herbert is one of those dudes that, you get by. If you get a good win over him, you could be a solid lightweight prospect, but Chris Padilla, it was a very, very close win. So we'll see how it goes, but good win by Chris Padilla nonetheless. We move on to the main card. Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrier opened up the main card. This was a good fight. This was a very solid fight, man. Nathaniel Wood came forward. I chose Morgan Charrier. I thought he'd have more finishing potential. But little did I know, Nathaniel Wood's boxing, crisp boxing, man, crisp boxing, almost finished Morgan Charrier. First minute of the fight, drops him with the right hand, completely puts him out unconscious, basically. Scrambles to the ground. Morgan Charrier is able to grab his legs, stay alive, just survive that round one. That was definitely a Nathaniel Wood round. Nathaniel Wood did go for a guillotine, lost that positioning. Morgan Charrier ended up on top, was able to land some shots, gained back his composure because he was basically unconscious after that right hook by Nathaniel Wood. But I still gave that for Wood by dropping Morgan Charrier in round one. So I gave that round to Nathaniel Wood. Then round two, it was more tit for tat, back and forth. Morgan Charrier was cracking with some punches, but Nathaniel Wood just had some more pop in his punches. He looked fresher, looked faster, looked cleaner. Nathaniel Wood's boxing is some of the best in featherweight. Super clean, in and out, landing shots, backing out of danger, and Morgan Charrier wasn't really able to regain his momentum after just being dropped in round one. It's hard to regain your momentum when you're basically unconscious in round one. And then round three, Morgan Charrier did, I believe, get a takedown. Nathaniel Wood jumped guillotine twice in this fight and ended up on bottom position, but Morgan Charrier wasn't able to do much when Nathaniel Wood was on the bottom. And when they were on the feet, Nathaniel Wood just got the better of the combinations, better of the striking exchanges. So it was a great win by Nathaniel Wood. Nice in front of the home crowd. Good unanimous decision. Unfortunate for Morgan Charrier, but it was a good fight nonetheless, and I'm sure they got a beer after the fight. We move on, though, to the next fight. Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan, man. Everybody was picking Jordan Vucenic. Everybody was picking Jordan Vucenic. And don't blame me. Don't blame me for saying that Jordan Vucenic might be a bit overrated, okay? He might be a little bit overrated. I think he's still a great fighter, but he got submitted by Chris Duncan in round two by a guillotine choke. Back-to-back guillotines for Chris Duncan. Nasty stuff, man. I think Jordan Vucenic's going to have to get that tattoo of the problem on his ass, man. So we'll see what happens. But Jordan Vucenic, came out round one, was looking okay. Chris Duncan lands a nice body kick, right body kick, and then a right hand straight down the pipe. Drops Jordan Vucenic bad. Drops him very bad. Chris Duncan jumps on him, goes for the ground and pound, has dominant first round, goes for a guillotine as well. I thought Chris was going to get in round one. Almost got the ghillie in round one. Really close. Jordan Vucenic barely survives that round. They go into round two. Jordan's looking way better, more clean. Goes for a takedown, gets Chris Duncan down. Was looking for some good position. Chris Duncan reversed the position, got on top. Then they got back to the feet, started striking again. Jordan Vucenic just looked more crisp. Looked like he had more pop in his punch. He looked good. I genuinely thought, Vucenic, keep it on the feet. You're going to be good. Just keep grinding it out on the feet. I thought Jordan should have kept it on the feet. He was landing nice jabs. His hooks were starting to connect. Chris Duncan was leaving his hands down because he was gassed out after the first round. But then for some reason, Jordan Vucenic shot a takedown. Chris Duncan locks up the guillotine choke, man, and Jordan Vucenic taps out in round 2. Great win by Chris Duncan, but I'm pretty disappointed in Jordan Vucenic for shooting the takedown and losing in front of the home crowd. I really, really was hyped to see Jordan Vucenic with a full camp, prepped, ready to go. I thought he beats Chris Duncan 9 out of 10 times, but that one time, man, Chris Duncan gets it done. He's a better fighter, more scrappy, wanted the win. Great win by Chris Duncan. He called out Terrence McKinney. I think that's a great fight in Miami. He called him out in Miami. That would be great. That would be a scrappy matchup. We know that would end in round 1. But good win by Chris Duncan. We will see what he does in the future. We move on. Molly McCann versus Alexia Tainara, man. I was hoping Molly McCann would get the win. I'm going to be honest. I really, really wanted her to get the win, but she does have can in her name. And she might be a bit of a can. I mean, she's over. She's past her prime. Clear past her prime. Alexia Tainara pissed me off the way she walked out. She started doing all this little dance and shit, all this little dancey shit, pissing me off. I hate Alexia Tainara, man. Not even because of the way she fought. She fought amazingly, but the way she acts, the way she presents herself, I don't like Tainara, man. She's annoying. She is annoying and irritating. I hope she doesn't make it far, but sorry for the hate, but I don't like Alexia Tainara. I don't care how many people she cashed out for that submission win. I just don't. All right, I don't. Molly McCann retires, got finished by Alexia Tainara in round 1. Alexia, looked better on the feet. Molly cracked her a couple times, but Alexia, once she got that takedown, it was just kind of game over, man. Molly was going for, some submissions off of her back, which she can sometimes pull off, but Alexia's BJJ was too good. She got the back of Molly McCann, got the neck, and choked her out in round 1. Pretty easy win for Alexia Tainara. Pretty unfortunate for Molly McCann. Not the best way to retire. Had Patty Pimblett crying in the crowd, man. Don't blame him, though. It's unfortunate for Molly McCann. But good win by Alexia Tainara, I guess. Don't like her. I hope she doesn't make it far. And yeah, we will move on. We will move on to the feature fight of this card, man. Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland gets back in the win. Call him boys. Kevin Holland seemed good. He looked good. He looked good. He was fresh. He was ready to go. Gunnar Nelson was coming out there. He wanted that win. Got the takedown on Kevin Holland in round 1. I thought it was over. I thought it was over the second it was on the ground, but Kevin Holland popped back up, had good BJJ off of his back, landed crazy, crazy ground strikes off of his back. Look at these striking numbers. 30 to 138, man. Kevin Holland absolutely dominated Gunnar Nelson with the striking exchanges. Even when Gunnar Nelson took Kevin Holland down, the shots that Kevin Holland was shooting off of his back, little hammer fists, elbows, 12 to 6 elbows, just a lot of mixed up shots off of Kevin Holland's back. He was also threatening, arm bars and submissions off of his back. And genuinely, when Gunnar Nelson was on top, even though he had top control, I genuinely gave those striking, those ground exchanges to Kevin Holland, even though he was on bottom position, because he was doing more by being on bottom position, genuinely. And he dropped Gunnar Nelson at the end of round 1. Beautiful 1-2 down the pipe. Dropped Gunnar Nelson. Ground and pound. Almost finished him. I mean, genuinely, Judge should have stepped in. Kevin Holland would have knocked him out there if there was a few more seconds. Gunnar Nelson was literally on wobbly legs. Got up. Never was able to recover from that. Even when he got the takedowns on Kevin Holland in round 2 and round 3, he just didn't do anything. He didn't do anything because he just seemed so out of it. Good win by Kevin Holland. I thought he could have gotten the finish in a couple moments, but it was back and forth. They were both pretty exhausted, but Kevin Holland's just so much better at 170. He said on the mic afterwards, I'll fight 185, I'll fight 170, I don't care. If there's a fight next week for 185, I'll do it, but I don't want to see Kevin Holland fight 185 anymore. I don't think you guys want to see Kevin Holland fight at middleweight anymore, man. I think he's so much better, so much more seasoned at welterweight. I mean, he just looked better, looked fresher. He was able to utilize all of his skills better because Gunnar Nelson wasn't weighing 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, Kevin Holland can't do anything when somebody like Rainer de Ritter is on his back who weighs 200 pounds after weigh-ins. So I hope Kevin Holland stays at welterweight, but we will see what happens, man. Good win. He was going to get cut. He needed that win desperately, so good win by Kevin Holland. We move on to the co-main event. Jan Blachowicz. Well, I can't say his name for some reason. Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg, man. This was annoying to watch. I'm going to be honest, because it was really just back and forth, like super close. You could have scored this, Jan. You could have scored this fight, Jan. But Ulberg did get the better of the striking exchanges. As much as it was very close, Jan was landing good low kicks. So was Carlos Ulberg, but it was just back and forth. Jan was pushing forward. Carlos was on the back foot, but he did seem the fresher fighter, obviously more pop in his punch. I mean, he's what, 30, 32, 33 years old, while Jan Blachowicz is 42 years old, man. For light heavyweight, Jan Blachowicz at 42 years old, he fought a great fight. You got to give him his props. He didn't retire. I hope Jan gets one more good fight. Somebody maybe fights like a vet. That would be great if we saw Jan Blachowicz fight a vet at light heavyweight. But Carlos Ulberg gets the win, and it was a big win. I mean, even though it wasn't like a crazy finish, it wasn't anything like that. Unanimous decision. It was very important. Very important win. I don't think anybody realized that this has title implications. Carlos Ulberg will be ranked number 3 at light heavyweight come Tuesday morning, man. And that's setting him up for a potential title shot or a potential contender shot. I think Carlos Ulberg versus Yuri Prochaska is the best fight to make. Yuri versus Carlos would be a super fun fight. Both of them are super fast, going to be blitzing in and out. Great striking exchange. I think that would be a perfect matchup. And the winner of that fights the winner of Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev 2. I think that's the fight to make. But good win by Carlos Ulberg. Very necessary win for him to break into the top 5 and get a potential title shot soon in the next year or so, man. But we will move on to the main event. Leon Edwards got cooked. He got dominated, got cooked. I was so happy watching this fight. Let's fucking go, Sean Brady. Let's go, man. Let's go. Sean Brady gets it done by submission. Look at these strikes. Look at this striking count. 23 to 221. I don't think that's right. I think Leon had about 40 strikes, but domination. Domination by Sean Brady. He had 5 takedowns, dominated Leon in every single round. Round 1 was the best chance for Leon to get Sean Brady out of there. After that, Sean Brady just scaled and got better and better as the rounds went on, man. Got more confident in everything. Every part of his game he got more confident in. Round 1 was back and forth. It was on the feet. Leon was connecting with some nice shots. Stunned Sean Brady with an elbow at one point. It was back and forth, tit for tat, man. Leon Edwards, he likes to be pretty, likes to keep his distance, likes to keep his range. Sean Brady had to make it nasty and just grueling for Leon Edwards, tire him out, and just make it so that he wants to quit. And Sean Brady turned Leon Edwards into a quitter in round 4, man. Just great work by Sean Brady. Non-stop great work. At the end of round 1, Sean Brady got a takedown, inside trip on Leon Edwards, took him down. Easy takedown for Sean Brady. And the second he got that takedown, I was like, I pray to God that Sean Brady's corner, when he goes back to the corner, they tell him, do that takedown, because that was easy. Easy, he took down Leon Edwards, and that's exactly what they did. They told him, get those takedowns, dominate him on the ground. That's what he did. Round 2, round 3, and round 4, man. Round 2, he came out there, took down Leon Edwards, was threatening submission attempts. And not only that, the thing with Sean Brady is he's so good on the ground because he mixes it up with ground strikes, elbows, little hammer fists, little shots to the side of the head, mixing it up to the body, knees, everything. Sean Brady's mixing it up on the ground. He's not just looking for a choke nonstop. And once he distracts you with the punches, he's looking for your neck. He's looking for your arm to chuck up a Kimura. He's looking for a guillotine, man. He's looking for a guillotine, which is what he pulled off against Leon Edwards in this fight. And he was able to do that in round 2, round 3, and eventually in round 4, he broke Leon Edwards. I mean, after every round, after round 2, Leon went back to his bench, looked just like he wanted to quit. Looked like he was just deteriorating, completely breaking, and Sean Brady broke him. He broke him. He broke Leon Edwards. And I was so happy to watch this fight because Sean Brady was able to do something that nobody's done. Okay? Bilal did break Leon Edwards, but it was a much more competitive fight than Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. Sean Brady just complete domination over Leon Edwards. If this went to the scorecards, it would have been 49-45 or something, man. 50-45. I mean, just utter domination. That's all there is to say, and Sean Brady showed that. And I made a video saying that I don't think anybody would want to see Leon versus Bilal 2 or Sean versus Bilal 2. But after seeing this fight, after seeing Sean Brady's improvement, his groundwork, his striking exchanges were better. When they were striking, he was mixing it up much better, throwing nice, clean combos, connecting on Leon, and he looked confident. I think him versus Bilal 2 could have a different outcome. I think it would be a great fight. I would love to see him wrestle Bilal and see if he could out-wrestle Bilal, outpace Bilal. But great win by Sean Brady. In round 4, went for the takedown right at the beginning of the round. Easy takedown, got the double leg, scooped Leon down, and once he was on top of Leon, he wrapped. He does this really cool thing where he wraps his arm under for the guillotine. You don't see many people do this. He goes for the top position guillotine, got it under Leon, and just had the one arm and was choking him with the one arm. Then once he gets his other arm secured, starts pulling. Even Paul Felder knew it. The second Sean Brady had it. he knew he was going to be tapping, man. Leon Edwards tapped to a top position guillotine by Sean Brady. His squeeze is just insane. His squeeze is insane. So Sean Brady gets it done by guillotine choke in round 4. Great win by Sean Brady, man. He's going to be ranked number 1 come Tuesday morning, and he has a potential chance to rematch Bilal or fight, he could fight Shavkat, he could fight JDM, he could fight Ian Gary. Like, Sean Brady's got plenty of options right now. He's going to take some time off, hang out with his family, re-observe himself, reconsider what he wants to do. But amazing win by Sean Brady. He also got a performance bonus for this one. Well deserved. It was a great card, man. Pretty solid card. Not too many finishes, but lots of submissions, lots of important fights on this card. And Sean Brady moves up to being ranked number 1 now, man. I'm sorry, but Leon Edwards' era is over. I don't see him bouncing back too heavily from this one, but we will see what happens. Anyways, that is the entire video. I did not mean to make it so long, but if you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop your comments down below what your favorite fight was, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.